Hey friends, this is Eric the Mind Control Guy. A couple nights ago, I called in the George Norrie's talk show, Coast to Coast AM, and they're talking about creatures of the North Woods, and one of the things that people kept coming up with was the jackalope, the legendary critter that was created as a bar gag in Seminole, Texas back in 1922. Now, there are variations of who created it, when it was created, and all this kind of stuff, but it actually was a bar gag created many years ago to mess with a lot of the Easterners that come out, and not all of them, but a certain amount of them were snooty and arrogant and just a bunch of looking at all these hicks, all these ranch hands, all these cattle ranchers and stuff like that. Look down their pious nose at them, being snooty and arrogant. Well, my actual CB handle, as I'm going to show you in a minute, was Jackalope back in those days. Now, I haven't carried a CB in over 20 years because I got tired of all the BS out there. It got to where the CB, we used to have a lot of fun, but it got to where people were just so foul and just obnoxious and always trying to start trouble. Anybody think they can kick my ass and all that garbage. And God help a lady get on the CB asking for information or something like that. And then you got the most dirty-minded, filthy, foul-mouthed guys. Come on there. All that aside, I know a lot of people call in those radio shows and they're just full of 100% BS. Well, as I said, my handle used to be Jackalope, and when I was on George Norrie's show a couple nights ago, and I'm going to play the phone call for you here in a minute, but I told them my handle was Jackalope, and I used to have a stuffed jackalope. I went into my archives and I found the old pictures. Now, these old pictures were taken back in the 90s. And so I'm a little older now, I'm a little grayer, but you'll still be able to see it's me. And I got pictures of my old jackalope, a couple of them here. I think I got 3 different pictures when I was up at Devil's Tower, Wyoming. And I went into the old-timey photo shoot place, and this was back in August of 96. So this was 25 years ago this month. And the lady, she had something to take care of. She was working with some people. So, okay, I'll be with you in about 10 minutes. I said, okay, I'm going to go outside and get my partner and bring him in. I brought Jack in, and she about lost it. She's like, I ain't letting you get in the way. Because I was just going to get a couple pictures because, oh, no, we're going to get a bunch more pictures. Well, I didn't have a whole lot of money with me on me at that time. I thought she wanted me to pay for them all. No, she just wanted them because she hadn't seen anybody bring a jackalope in there. So I'm going to flip my camera around, and I'm going to show you these pictures that I had. And one of them, I told George I'd put a Santa Claus hat on him around Christmas time and call him Santalope. I got a few pictures. Then I got a picture of Jack sitting on my lap, and one when I had him in the jump seat going by and people seeing him and whatnot. And I had an old duster, an old Western duster, and I had it airbrushed. And I still have the duster, but it's really, really faded now, and you can hardly see it. But I'm going to flip my camera around, and I'm going to show you these pictures, because I think people are going to get a kick out of it. Okay, here's the one. We're up at Devil's Tower, Wyoming. That's me, and that's Jack. And she had a little plastic little pistol. We took rubber bands and put it in between his paws and did that. I'm going to show you another one here. Okay. This one here is like she had me dressed up as an old sheriff in a jail scene, and there's Jack behind the bars. So it's like I'd caught the carrot bandit. I thought that was classic. This one here, we're out in front of Devil's Tower, Wyoming. They got me and my duster and the long gun, and there's Jack with his little pistol. And that's another classic. And now I got 5 other pictures. I'm just going to slowly go by one at a time and show you. Actually, it looks like I had a few more pictures than I'd said. Anyway, there's Jack with his Santa hat on. He is Santalope. There's another one, so people would look through the window and that's what they'd see. Jack with a Santa hat on. And there I had him, I just propped him up in a parking lot and took a picture of him. And there's what people would see when I had him in the jump seat. And there's my old Duster right after I had it airbrushed and I brought it home, and then I hung it up and took a picture of it, because it's just airbrush, and as anybody who's had airbrushing knows, after a while airbrushing wears off. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then here I am. There's Jack when I used to put him in my lap, and I put his paws on the steering wheel, and I would go riding down the road. In that particular seat, I could actually push back past the windshield so people couldn't see me. And that's the story I told on the air when I was out in Nebraska, I think it was, and I was going down the road, and I had my hands underneath so you couldn't see me, you just see Jack. And this driver went by and he goes, "Damn, there's a jackalope driving that Werner truck." He said, "Driver, you smoking that stuff again? Ain't no rabbit driving that Werner truck." "Yeah, get your ass on up here and see for yourself, driver." "All right, let me get up there. Let me see. Holy crap, man, there's a jackalope driving that Werner truck." And I had a ball that day. And I had all kinds of stories that I could tell. I mean, when I went to go get my Duster airbrushed, I was walking through a mall in Columbus, Ohio with Jack in my hands. And this guy looked like he was about in his mid-50s, early 60s. He walked up to me and he goes, "Isn't that a jackalope?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "Where'd you get him?" "I got him out in New Mexico." He said, "Don't they got a ranch out there where they raise them things?" It was all I could do to keep from laughing. And there was just all kinds of stories that I had in the years I had him. And well, eventually, the highways being as brutal as they are, Jack fell apart. Well, I got him repaired one time, and because it was just styrofoam on the inside and whatnot. And then before you know it, I got him, like I said, I got him fixed. Lady up in North Dakota fixed him for me. I got it back, and then I had him for a while. Next thing you know, Jack just fell apart. He was just completely gone. So unfortunately, old Jack went out to pasture. I wish someday I could get out there and try to find me another one, except I wouldn't put him in the truck. I would just keep him here at home. But anyways, a little place out in New Mexico. I can't remember if it was I-10 or I-20. And it was around mile marker 20, I think, and there was just building out in the middle of nowhere, great big red letters that said Separ, S-E-P-A-R. And they just had all kinds of trinkets and knickknacks. And anyway, they had a few of these jackalopes. Well, before I bought him, I had a Polaroid camera. As you see, these pictures I had up here, those were Polaroids. And there's that last picture right there with me and Jack, and my the lights kind of reflecting. But there's me, and there's Jack, and there's my cat Oslo I had. He's looking up at Jack. But anyway, so I had a Polaroid camera, and I asked the ladies, "Can I take some pictures?" "Yeah, sure, go ahead." Well, I was taking some pictures of Jack, and about that time, this suit walked in. The guy looked like he was in his mid-30s, early 40s. And there was about a dozen of us in there between customers and employees. And anyway, the guy looked at me doing that, and he goes, said, "You like that jackalope, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I do." He said, "Man, I didn't know them things really existed." Well, it was all we could do to keep from laughing, so we all played on it. And one of the customer ladies said, "Oh yeah, we got them at my place. They're hopping around all the time." And the store clerk said, "Oh yeah, every once in a while they're hopping around out back." So then I chimed in, and because the guy said, "Well, all the ones I see smashed on the side of the road ain't got no antlers." And that's when I chimed in and said, "Oh hell, man, those are the does. The bucks are always back guarding the rabbit hole." And he just walked off scratching his head, and no sooner did he walk out the door, we all couldn't hold it in anymore, and we just busted out laughing. And so now I just wanted to show people, because there's There's always people out there, calling these talk shows and just telling just one fabricated, made up lie after another. Well, I didn't want people to think that of me. And so, like I say, back in those days, back when I used to carry a CB, for years, my handle was Jackalope. And I had bought this one over in New Mexico. And I got the trucker's discount, but I still paid $180 for him. And that was back in, I bought Jack, I can't remember, it was either 94 or 95. I think it was 94. And back then I paid $180 for them because normally they were $200. And so I have no idea what they are now. I don't know if that little trinket shop even exists anymore. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play that call for you now on George Norrie, Coast to Coast Show, and then I'll upload this. Thank you. I hope you were entertained.
Let's go to Eric in Indiana on the wild card line. Hello, Eric. Welcome to the show.
This is Eric, the mind control guy. How's everybody?
Hey, Eric. All good. Thanks.
Years ago, my actual CB handle when I did carry a CB radio was Jackalope. And I had a lot of fun with that. I used to have a stuffed one I used to carry in the jump seat. And one day I was out in Nebraska, and it was a long stretch of road, nothing going on. I decided to have fun. And so the truck I had at that time, the seat, I could slide back past the window. And I put Jack in my lap, and I put his paws on the steering wheel, and I put my hand underneath there. And I'm just going down the road, and you could hear people on the CB, "Hey, there's a Jackalope driving that Warner truck." "No, driver, ain't nobody doing that." Let me say, "God damn, there is a Jackalope driving that Warner truck." And then sometimes I'd put, at Christmas time, I'd put a Santa Claus hat on them, call them Santa Lope, and people wanted their pictures taken with them and all that. But I used to have a real ball when I used to have my Jackalope and when I used to use that CB handle all the time.
That's cool.
Seminole, Texas, back in 1922. Mess with the greenhorns.
That's another story for your book, Chad.
And that's what I love about this, George. Just all your callers talking about how much fun and entertaining these stories